Happy Monday and welcome to the 16th episode of the Sneak Preview. We follow the current film release calendar. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Austin Johnson.
And we're doing something a little different today. Instead of focusing on a film, we're going to be diving into the Academy Awards of the 2000s, particularly the categories of Best Actor and Best Actress. We selected our own lists of performances that we think should have been nominated, and we're going to take it year by year and state our case for the actors and actresses we've selected. Also, since we both got to see it, we're going to talk a little bit about Ben Wheatley's new horror film, In the Earth. But first, we got to see what happened last week in film. Last week in film. First up, trailer time. Love talking trailers. New trailer for Fast and Furious 9 came out, or F9, as they're currently calling it. Current release date is June 25th, and this looks so ridiculous, even by Fast and Furious standards, and that is saying something at this point.
Yeah, that's definitely saying something. I am not really a fan of the franchise. I've only seen maybe half of them. So these trailers, I see them all over the place because you can't miss them. But there's no really part of me that gets excited. It's redundant to me at this point.
It's insane, but for some reason, this is a $1 billion franchise now.
Yeah,
a multi-billion-dollar franchise
for sure.
I can't explain it. There was one line in the trailer. I don't know if I've talked about this on one of our shows. I know I've talked about this to somebody, but I don't remember who it was because my whole life and the podcast just bleeds together at this point.
Yeah.
And but I'm going to say it here anyway. There's a line in the trailer where John Cena says, "My whole life I've lived in your shadow." And I'm thinking, Dom is an LA amateur street racer. What shadow? Are you kidding? If you are like a CIA trained assassin, stunt driver, killer, and that's your problem. Like if you're living in your street racer brother's shadow, that's sad. So
yeah,
ridiculous.
If that's what if that's like you said, if that's what's kind of stumped you,
raise the bar of your life.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
Aspire to more than wife beaters and Corona. Good God. I'm going to see it, and it's going to be fun to do it on this show, but it is like my expectations could not be lower.
I don't know when these again, I've only seen like half of them, so it's just not a thing I have too much knowledge on. But you don't really need to, right? They just kind of come and go.
I haven't seen Too Fast, Too Furious or Tokyo Drift. I watched the first one for some reason, and 4 I watched because I wanted to have some context for 5. I like 5, 6, 7, 8, and Hobbs and Shaw are actually pretty damn good movies.
I've heard 5 is legit. I've seen it, but I didn't have any context. I've seen the first 3.
Oh. And
I have not seen 4, I've seen 5, and then I haven't seen the rest. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at exactly 50%.
I didn't give a shit about the franchise. I was bored one day. My mom and I decided to go see Fast 5. And we were like, oh, The Rock. Okay. Oh, this is neat. Who's Letty? What is this? What? He was a cop? I had not seen the other movies. So I was like, what is going on? I don't know. But The Rock is covered in baby oil and saying like, might be Southern. He says some bitch a lot, but there's no accent. Like, what's going on with this?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. The writing is insane. One of my favorite things is about, that franchise, like to kind of like poke at is and this happens with a lot of like just kind of over the top action movies, but these, like you said, are multi-billion-dollar movies. There will just be a moment in each film where they all have to meet in a place that's very far, and there's just no explaining how they got there. They're just there. We're all just in this city, and we're just discussing the plan, and it's just
exactly so what you're talking about.
It's so ridiculous. It's like you're just kind of spoon feeding the audience at that point. I for one don't really like that.
I can pinpoint the exact moment that the Fast and Furious franchise jumped the shark because it was so overtly ridiculous, even by that franchise's standards at that point. It's at the end of Furious 7, where at the beginning of that movie, The Rock and Statham have a big old fight, and somehow Statham wins that fight. And The Rock ends up, like, it gets a little beat up. His arm's broken. It's in a cast.
Yeah.
He spends most of that movie off screen. And at the end of the movie, they call him like, "Hey, Hobbs, we need you." And he's like, rock and roll, stands up, flexes the fucking cast off.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard about that. Yeah. Haven't seen it, but I've heard about that. Yeah.
And then just goes to town.
Yeah. Doesn't he say something like daddy's got to take care of business or some shit like that? Yeah.
I think that's the exact phrase. Yeah.
I've heard about that one. Yeah. Of course, like you said, again, like we both said, that these movies are huge and massive. So I know a lot of people who are really into them, and that stuff's just not really my cup of tea.
I talk a lot of shit, but I've seen 5 through 8 at the movies. So I'm seeing 9 at the movies too. I'm well aware of my hypocrisy here. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. It's Hollywood's bitches. That's what we are.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You pick and choose what you're a bitch for, right? It's the game we play. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Moving on, we also got a new trailer for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which is set for next Netflix release on May 21st, and I am actually pretty excited about this. This looks really neat. Yeah,
definitely looks cool. I just watched this today because you had kind of mentioned we'll give this a shout. I'm really, really jazzed about this, and now I'm vaccinated. Glad I could say that, and I'm going back to the theater now. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that one on the big screen.
Well, this is Netflix. I don't know if it's getting a big screen.
Oh, this one is. Oh
yeah.
Man. Well, that's okay. I mean, watching it at home is something I've gotten quite used to.
Just go find a big TV at someone's house, and you've got a big screen.
Yeah. I just now that it's there was like a year there where I didn't go to the theater at all, and finally went back. It just kind of want to see everything on the big screen.
Oh yeah, I'm right there, man. I thought it was neat, using Kenny Rogers, the gambler, and kind of I like when they use old songs in a new context. Trailers are an art form to me, and it always, of course, makes me excited. And this, I don't really know why people would need to steal millions of dollars during a zombie apocalypse. I mean, I assume the economy is dead when that happens. So, I don't know what the money's for. I guess maybe they'll explain that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's got an R rating, action, crime, horror. Yeah, I'm kind of in either way.
Ocean's 11 meets Dawn of the Dead. Sign me up.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, there's that Netflix right at the bottom of the poster. Look at my dumbass.
The trailer for The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard came out. The sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard is set for release on June 16th. I did not see the first one.
Neither did I.
Okay, well, that was fun.
I'm good on this. Yeah,
I have nothing to say here. I like Ryan Reynolds. I like Sam Jackson. I like Salma Hayek. I'll probably see it.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I just have no point of reference, and it's the title.
Yeah.
Just one of those that we just said, you pick and choose, even if you're one of Hollywood's bitches, and this is one of those that I will not choose.
Well, I don't know. I'm on kind of a personal mission to see every film that comes out this year, and I'm doing a pretty decent job so far. So I might have to just take one for the team.
Oh man, yeah, I can't even imagine trying to do that. I can't even fathom trying to just watch all of the foreign movies that come out within a year, let alone all these streaming movies that are coming out left and right.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I'm trying. I'm looking forward to it. The trailer for Profile came out. Follows an undercover British journalist as she attempts to infiltrate an Islamic extremist group, only to end up sucked in for real. It's all told through webcams, a la Unfriended and Host, supposedly based on a true story, and is set for release May 14th. And we saw the trailer for this and the next film we're going to talk about when we went to saw In the Earth. And this looks interesting. Looks like it could go off the rails really quickly. I hope it works out.
Yeah, definitely keen on seeing this. I think you talked about kind of like trailers are an art. This trailer is pretty brilliant and kind of does some stuff where maybe you feel like you're gonna predict what happens, but you always know when you go into a movie like Unfriended or Host or whatever it may be, that's kind of like a webcam type movie. There's always going to be a couple ridiculous twists, and those either land or they don't, and that's really kind of what it's all about, And this one looks cool. Like, I'm expecting it to be pretty solid.
I'm impressed by anyone who can make a successful narrative out of webcam footage and put that together. I always find that exciting, even if the movie's not great.
Exactly, and that kind of new way of making kind of like a horror, psychological thriller, whatever it may be. It is entertaining, right? It's something that you just kind of can't take your eyes off of, even if the quality isn't amazing. But if it is, like, I thought Host was really effective, like really stuck with me, and was, to me, one of the more effective horror films overall from 2020. And I hope this does that similar kind of thing.
Well, I saw the IMDb has its year listed as 2018, so I think this one has been shelved for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I don't know why. I didn't really look into that, but
no, neither did I. It's definitely piques your interest, right? Like Sound of Metal. I remember reading about how that was a completely finished product in like early 2019, and then it doesn't come out till December of 2020, and that's just fascinating how movies kind of have this like lifespan and sometimes hit at the right time.
Yeah. And here's hoping this one does.
Yep.
Finally, the trailer for Separation. A young girl is haunted by the ghost of her recently deceased mother, set for release April 30th. And I think this looks fairly generic. I feel like they just slap different names on a ghost formula, make 2 or 3 of them a year. And they don't usually stand out. I don't expect big things from this one.
No, I don't. This is the one where there's like, remind me, because we did see this trailer. It's the one that has a bunch of red involved, correct? With the kind of like the marketing of it. This pisses me off, and in the horror genre, it's one of the things that I think you can kind of get upset with. Is too often do you find just out of nowhere someone trying to create a character that's like, what are you trying to? Are you trying to make like a Pennywise type character? What are you doing? And you're trying to all of a sudden make some kind of like pop culture iconic villain, like horror villain. And it's just not easy. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
And I can't stand when, 21st century horror tries to do that, tries to like make a figure and they somehow expect that to just kind of carry what's going on and be iconic off of one kind of shitty movie. So yeah, this kind of stuff bothers me, and it's like it turns me away. But I also want to see it because I want to see as many modern horror movies as I can, because you want to give it that chance.
Everybody wants a Babadook. No one wants to put in the work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like fuck off. It's just not that easy. It's not that easy.
Now, and this will probably be, you can kind of, at this point, we're 16 episodes in on this show, and this show has a pretty set formula at this point. We know what to expect. I can see Separation being one of the backpedal films we just bring up for a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah, I agree. And with that being said, surprise us and surprise the audience, and maybe we'll say something different, but I don't expect to.
Yeah. Well, that's it for trailers. We had quite a lot this week. Now for the news. Netflix is developing a live-action Gundam movie from Jordan Vogt Roberts, the director of Kong Skull Island. You ever remember Gundam?
Yeah, I do. I do. I am very, very fond of Kong Skull Island. Think that movie's kind of brilliant.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah, definitely blew me away in theaters, and very sad I didn't see Godzilla vs. Kong in theaters. Really sad about that.
You still can.
Yeah, I know, but I already watched it on HBO Max, so
Oh.
I could go see it again. But it was, you know what I mean.
Fair enough. Speaking of, Caleb told me he bought his ticket to Mortal Kombat today.
Oh, there you go. I'm excited to hear you guys talk about that. That'll be on here. Yeah.
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 I never Gundam. I remember my cousins were really into it, but I never got into. I remember they got me a toy for Christmas one year because they were like, "Play with us," and I was like, "I don't want to." And I just never. I remember Gundam popping up in Ready Player One, and people being very excited about that. But I don't really have any frame of reference on Gundam. But if the trailer looks cool, I like the director, I like his work, so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Gundam looks kind of like, I guess would be equivalent to what's his name in the Transformers, Optimus Prime. Kind of looks similar, right? Gundam.
I feel like a lot of fans are gonna hate you for that.
That's all right. I mean, I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about, so.
Yeah, so I don't know. Is there anything that's not going to be repurposed? Like everything now, I feel like if it was ever even successful, a little bit is going to get the big screen Hollywood treatment now. And I'm kind of over it. I want some originality. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. When I searched the image of Gundam, Power Rangers, Transformers, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were the other things that people also search for.
There you go.
Toys. Oh my God. And then there's the thing for the nearest Walmart to where I'm at. Jesus Christ. Get me the fuck out of here.
Oh, that's fantastic. This was interesting. I was not expecting this, and I really want to see this. Comedian Bert Kreischer has announced an upcoming film based on his signature Machine story about the time he got involved with the Russian mafia. And Mark Hamill was playing his dad. So we're getting the Bert Kreischer movie. Awesome. I think he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And a movie about the fucking machine. I mean, oh my God. It's going to be ridiculous.
No, yeah. Super, super excited about this. He's a guy I want to see live. I mean, are you a bigger fan of Bert or Tom?
Tom, 100%, but I do like Bert.
Yeah, I think Tom is just far superior at just stand-up comedy in general. But Bert is, one of a kind. He's his own animal, and I can't wait to see him in a feature-length film. Yeah,
I can't believe he's not dead. Just Bert. Every day I think like, is today the day they find his body? Like he just has such a ride it hard lifestyle that I just can't fucking believe. Like dude's in his like late 40s, early 50s now, maybe. I don't know. He looks that old. I don't know. But he's gonna play himself, right? He's gonna play. We're expected to believe that he's college age Bert. That's gonna happen, clearly.
Yes, hell yeah.
Well, I hope that works out because I really want to see that, and I know Tom's gonna pop up in there somewhere. He's gonna be a Russian mobster or some shit.
God, yeah, he's got to. I mean, yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of people that would pop up.
Oh yeah. Next up, Lucy Liu has joined the cast of Shazam: Fury of the Gods as the villain Calypso. Cool. Any Kill Bill fans will know Lucy Liu plays a damn good villain. And I really liked Shazam. It's kind of forgettable, but that's just, run of the mill for DC these days. And I hope the sequel works out. I don't like that they're picking they're making up their own villains when there's, a pantheon of DC characters to pick from. But, I'm optimistic.
Well, that's it right there is, you said, like you said, there's a pantheon of characters to choose from. And if you think if DC people are making these movies with DC characters think that they have better villains in mind, then they shouldn't be in the spot that they're in already.
Yeah.
I've said it too many times, but it's one of the most true things, and especially in the film industry we're in right now, and just kind of like the landscape, is that Marvel takes care of its characters, picks people that are going to take care of them and treat it seriously, and DC fucks around and makes their own character, makes up their own new characters, and it's just sloppy as hell and run of the mill, forgettable, and at some point your legacy just becomes shit, and that's frustrating to watch unfold right in front of us.
Does the name Nuclear Man mean anything to you?
Yeah. Really silly seeing stuff like that. And there's fans of all kinds of villains out there, right? That are waiting for their favorite villain to be in a film. And we got a better one. No, you don't.
Here's a wacky idea. Black Adam.
I mean, yeah, just play Injustice, and you there's a few on there. You can just pick one out of a fucking hat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Every time I think DC is going to course correct, they don't, and I don't know why I'm still surprised.
Yeah, just keep doing it. Just keep one step forward, two steps back, over and over.
Ugh. Speaking of castings, Pete Davidson has been cast as iconic rocker Joey Ramone in the upcoming Netflix biopic I Slept with Joey Ramone. Okay, sure. I thought King of Staten Island was really good, so I'm on board. I like Pete Davidson, so I think this will be interesting.
Hell yeah, man. I think he's a really interesting performer, and I too think King of Staten Island was solid, and he's worth, I think, following right now, and seeing kind of what he does next.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of those guys who actually manages to escape Saturday Night Live and have a career.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, like a Bill Hader. There's real talent within there. Yeah.
Yeah. And this was just fucking awesome. Mads Mikkelsen has joined the cast of Indiana Jones 5 in an undisclosed role. Smart Money says he's playing the bad guy.
Yes, 100%. And this is what we want. This is Indiana Jones fans can finally get rid of Crystal Skull, get it out of their heads, and move on, get a proper film to finish this thing off.
Yeah, here's hoping. More news that comes out about this, the more excited I get, and that's a good feeling.
Yep. Yes.
And I hate to transition from very positive news to two very sad bits of news. First up, Oscar-nominated director Richard Rush has died at 91 from natural causes. Rush was nominated twice for writing and directing 1980's The Stuntman with Peter O'Toole. And that's a film I think we should throw on our list because that sounds very interesting.
It does. It's definitely a movie I've had my eye on, since we started the Oscar Sunday show. I think it's like prime for you and I. I think it's one of the 80s films that would really pay off. And like you said, it'd be good timing now to, get some perspective on this guy and this movie that was really important to his career.
Yeah, exactly. And then this just broke my heart. Actress Helen McCrory has died at 52 after a battle with cancer. McCrory was known for playing Narcissa Malfoy in the Harry Potter films and Aunt Polly on the period series Peaky Blinders. She also appeared in such films as The Queen, Skyfall, Hugo, and The Count of Monte Cristo. And this was just, I fucking loved her. She was such a talented actress, and my heart goes out to her family. I can't imagine the pain Damian Lewis is in right now. This is devastating.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the ones that sting the most, right? When they're of an age that just seems unfair, and when you're watching them on screen, you feel like, no, there's so much left, so much life to live, so much to give. And that's exactly what she did. She just went for it all the time, and whether it worked out or not, she was just always on, eyes always wide open, just fucking chomping at the bit.
Yeah,
I think Peaky Blinders is a pretty brilliant show. And she's, one of the most effective characters. There's times where she like, stares down Cillian Murphy and is like just kind of outshining him at times. And it's beautiful to watch. Those are the things you just are always going to remember when someone like this at that age passes away. You just hold on to that stuff that just happened, and her work in Peaky Blinders is what I will kind of always see when I think about her.
It was a recent rewatch of The Count of Monte Cristo that I realized she was in that movie. I'd never noticed her. She is Madame Villefort, the magistrate's wife, who is just as sinister and devious as he is. And I can't believe I never noticed it was her. And the fact that, she is a piece of one of my favorite films. That's, to me personally, that's just fantastic. Harry Potter and Count of Monte Cristo. So yeah, rest in peace.
Yep.
Oh, damn. So before we get into our honorable mentions show, In the Earth.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this was your return to the theaters in quite some time.
Yeah, it was. You and I met up a little early, got some food, and saw this movie at Santikos Embassy, a wonderful theater that's, I believe, doing things the right way. I know you've been there quite a bit over the past year, and I got vaccinated and felt like it was time to get back out to the theater and see a random film, and that's what we got. In the Earth, Ben Wheatley's In the Earth. I don't have much for any reference for him other than Free Fire. It's a decent film from 2016 that he directed. Haven't seen anything else he's done that he's directed anyway.
Yeah.
And I mostly wanted to see this with you. Is like, oh, I'm going back to the theater. I want to kind of see an atmospheric, horror movie. And that's what we got. But I just wasn't very impressed with the fundamentals of the film. Just the story itself was just didn't know exactly where to go. But there were moments where I was really freaked out.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of Frankenstein film. It's two movies kind of stitched together that just don't work.
Yeah.
And Ben Wheatley, I had seen the 2020 remake of Rebecca. That was him.
Oh, yeah, that is him. Yes.
And I thought that was not bad. I mean, typically when you remake Hitchcock, you stumble, but I thought he did a fairly decent job. I thought Armie Hammer and Lily James were really good. But this was just like the bit with, Zach, the hunter guy who drugs them and tries to, sacrifice them to the wood god. That was a cool, like, little story kind of going in a neat direction. But the second they started introducing the scientist and the whole like communicating with nature shit, like none of that made any sense. And yeah, just this did not work.
Yeah, I don't want to be totally rude, but Haley Squire's role as Olivia Wendell is just, to me, fucking useless. Like, throws the movie into just completely ruined the momentum the movie had for me. Not her fault per se. That character though just made no sense. What Haley doesn't know what to do with this is she's constantly put into these terrible spots where she's just annoying. She's just the character who you don't have any really sympathy for what's going on with her. But you're not really frightened by her. I was left like kind of emotionless towards her character and thought it was pointless.
She's there to deliver exposition, but her delivery is so goofy at times that like the audience, like there were a few people in the theater who were just laughing at the dialogue. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And there are moments where like Joel Fry's performance as Martin is pretty good. And there's a couple moments where he says something kind of sarcastic, but Haley and the Olivia Wendell character is, to me, not really going for laughs, but it's just kind of so ridiculous that you do laugh. She's, staring at him like, this is what we have to do. And I'm not buying it. I'm not buying anything that you're saying. And while I thought everybody else was really good,
Yeah.
I thought Reese Shearsmith was amazing. The last 30 minutes just like totally took me out of it.
Well, we're not alone in that. Check out this disparity on Rotten Tomatoes. So this has a 75% critic score right now and a 30% audience score.
Weef.
So yeah, fans are not enjoying this, and I think critics are like, I think they're talking out of their ass. Frankly, this was just a disaster that nobody wants to admit because it's an artsy horror film, and that appeases critics. Critics don't like giving slasher films their due, but when it comes to artsy shit, they're like, oh, it's about nature and man's arrogance and all that. Fucking just forget it. I don't have time for this shit anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There are things I appreciate about it, but I know what you mean when it's just kind of like, all right, what do you playing with my emotions now for an hour and 45 minutes is what you're doing.
I don't like when I get tricked into watching a David Lynch movie.
Yeah.
And that's what this felt like.
I want to know beforehand. Yeah.
Ben Wheatley, by the way, has been tasked with doing the Meg 2. So we're going to get some ethereal shark action in the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's great. I don't know, man. When this movie started, we sat down and it got going. I was really fucking into it. Back in the theater, I thought some of the cinematography was pretty impressive. And as you move in, you realize, okay, this is like a proper 2020, 2021 movie where these people have masks on, they're putting hand sanitizer on right when they go inside somewhere. And there's those little touches that are pretty cool. And there's a couple conversations between Martin and Alma, both really good characters. And, I think there's a couple interesting things where they're talking about, like, I haven't been around people in months because I've been quarantining and kind of like I'm kind of socially awkward or whatever. I thought some of those things were interesting, but they never quite went down that rabbit hole ever. They never really went into the kind of coronavirus quarantine new way of living, but then they didn't go totally into the weird Zach, thing like slasher movie. So it just felt like they didn't know what they're doing. And that's the difference between like someone like David Lynch. That is what he's doing. This that's the point, and that going into it, right? But with this, you thought you were getting a horror movie, and that's not really what you totally got. At times, yeah, but at other times it was just kind of a mess and didn't know what it wanted to do.
Yeah, it's quite a mess. I think I went with a 6 on this one simply because of the Zach scenes. I thought those were really well done, had me cringing, had me actually reacting to the screen, which was great. So I wanted to give, credit where it's due. That was great, but the rest of the film is a mess.
Yeah, I give it a 7, same reasons as you. I think when one of like my favorite scenes of the past year that I've seen in any movie was when Zach is shooting arrows at Alma and Martin. Like, whoa. Because he's kind of like got all these random weapons in his big old tent in the middle of the fucking forest. And when he just starts using different things and then they're kind of running and he's like, I'm gonna use my fucking bow and arrow, and just starts launching them at, I thought that was unbelievable, and the way that was kind of shot where these two characters are on drugs the entire time, it was very, very interesting. But then it would, two steps, one step forward, two steps back type of thing. It would continually do that. And so, yeah, I give it a 7 because there were good moments, but I wouldn't totally recommend it to everybody.
Well, sequences like Zach appearing in the darkness with a red flare, just like those were really neat.
Yes.
Him swinging the axe in the woods, screaming Martin, like straight Shining reference there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was cool. Like that should have been the movie.
I agree. I thought it should have just become a movie about these two people in the forest, just trying to run from this guy.
Yeah.
I just watched a film not too long ago called Alone. It's on Hulu. And it was just so fucking simple. It was so brilliant. I loved it because it was just about a man and who's just chasing down this girl, and it just gets super gritty and they just fucking focus on that. And that's, in my opinion, horror operates best when it hones in on its story and figures out this is what we're going to attack, like a Shining sticks with its characters, Hereditary sticks right with its characters and just makes you fucking, just kind of tussle with them. And that there's nothing like that. When you get used to a Zach character and you're like, yeah, all right, I'm kind of in for an hour of this. And then it gets flipped upside down. You don't see him for the last 20 minutes until the end. It's just, it's not what I've signed up for.
Yeah. Wheatley, I think, he wanted to have his cake and eat it too. And he just wanted every idea he had into this movie. And, I firmly believe less is more when it comes to horror. We've seen that many times. And this was just, too many ideas that didn't work together.
Yeah.
You got to kill your darlings. Not every idea is a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're a guy who's making movies a lot, separate your ideas. But I do, if you like this kind of string of A24 horror, like The Witch and Lighthouse and Hereditary and Midsommar and that kind of stuff, this is up your alley. I really do. I wouldn't throw in all of those being the same quality, but this new wave of horror, I think this fits in. I think it fits in. It Comes at Night. What else is out? These kind of like 2010 new kind of horror movies that don't have like quite a huge budget, but big enough to be pretty damn solid.
Throw Gretel and Hansel into that mix.
Yeah. I think there's probably there's probably a lot, like even something like Nightingale, like a just total revenge movie that's just like fuck, and the way it was marketed, very similar to stuff like this. I think there's obviously an audience for it,
Yeah, there is. But with that audience comes so many different filmmakers trying to make another Hereditary.
Yep.
And we end up with so many fucking copycats, and all of them usually suck. This happens every generation. There's it happened in the 80s with slasher films, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Elm Street, great, everything. And then there were just endless stream of copycats.
Yes.
And every generation has their kind of horror flavor, and this one is ours. And I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of on the fence with this yet.
Yeah, I would say at the beginning of the decade, you see like The Conjuring is in, Sinister, right? These movies that are just kind of like the king of of horror right there. And I think you just see a clear, not switch or anything, but you just see a clear adding, because you still have, look how well it Chapter 2 did. Those are just fucking like textbook haunted house horror movies, just like they're awesome. But these are like kind of they're in. People talk about Hereditary a lot. People talk about The Lighthouse, and I think this movie could potentially get a kind of wave.
It could, I'll probably throw it into the book of Filmgazm, and we might, end up doing it on that show in depth at some point.
Yeah.
That seems to be, the best place for it.
I definitely agree. It's not going to get any Oscar nominations. So.
Yeah. So before we get into the meat of the show, I would just like to mention that I have a new cat. And if you hear bells or a meowing noise, that is Seymour, the official cat mascot of Filmgazm Productions, just hanging around.
Seymour. Yeah, Seymour. Couldn't be happier to have you with us today. And, hopefully you're a part of a lot of our shows.
He is a handful, and I guarantee you will hear him on every show but the Giggle Guys.
That's hilarious. Seymour.
I love him, but
he'll hear his name a couple times here with Big Dog PSH.
Yes, he will. All right, so today's main course is going to be us talking about some of our favorite leading performances between 2000 and 2009 that we think were wrongly ignored by the Academy, and we're going to state our case. So let's do this. We're not taking any out. We're just adding.
Yeah. We're going to start with 2000, go to 2009. We'll go ladies first. We'll do the list off the nominated people, the winner, and then we'll both kind of just throw someone in. Because, yeah, we haven't seen every single movie here. That's a lot.
Yeah.
We've got something more, a little more knowledge based on Oscar Sunday coming up with the Best Picture swap. But this is we like to call it a lead actor and actress honorable mention.
Yes, exactly. If there was a sixth slot, these are the ones we'd want to get that slot.
Yeah, they would got my vote. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So 2000 is where we're going to start this out. Best actor.
Let's get the women some love first here. Julia Roberts is the winner for Erin Brockovich. Joan Allen nominated for The Contender. Juliette Binoche nominated for Chocolat. Ellen Burstyn nominated for Requiem for a Dream. Wonderful performance. And Laura Linney nominated for You Can Count on Me. So yeah, this is a pretty strong group here. And for me, there was someone that jumped out right away. A film that's involved at this 73rd Academy Awards. That's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and that'd be Michelle Yeoh as Yu Shu Lien. Just a performance that involves a lot of drama, a lot of emotions, and then there's a physical performance that is kind of unmatched to me. It's very difficult to do some of the stuff she's doing in Crouching Tiger. Wonderful movie, awesome performances, and it's kind of frustrating when your favorite person in the movie doesn't get any shine when the movie gets a lot of shine. That happened with Parasite too.
Yeah, that's a good shout out. Yeah, Crouching Tiger is a very exciting, very dramatic film, and she is fantastic in it.
Oh yeah. Who do you got? What's your female shout out here?
So I stayed in this bunch of films, and I went with an actress who I think is just as good as Ellen Burstyn in Requiem for a Dream, Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, I like that.
It's hard to argue who has the most tragic story in this film, but she could take that cake. Ending up as kind of just a smacked out whore, and her journey there is so damn heartbreaking, as is everybody's in that film. But I thought Jennifer Connelly wasn't an actress I really thought about until I saw that movie, and I thought, like, holy hell, she's good. So yeah, she was my pick.
I love that call. Yeah, it's something that we feel like is very possible and happens a lot with the Oscars, where the wrong person sometimes we feel like might be nominated, or maybe both. Like say in Judas and the Black Messiah, if only Coolio got nominated or only Stanfield, you'd be like, but the other guy's awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Ellen Burstyn was the wrong person from that film, because
she's incredible. Oh man, yeah.
I think she deserved that win, but I do think Jennifer Connelly deserved to be nominated for either leading actress or supporting actress, however they want to play it.
Yeah, I can't say myself. I haven't seen The Contender or You Can Count on Me, but of the three, I would go Ellen Burstyn as well. Of those three,
yeah. God, that's such a haunting fucking movie.
I want to see You Can Count on Me real bad. Laura Linney's awesome.
Oh yeah, she's great. And yeah, I've only seen Requiem for a Dream from this group.
Oh shit! Really, you haven't seen Erin Brockovich? Oh man, you'd like that one.
Yeah, I've got an endless list of homework to do.
Oh yeah, we all do. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when it comes to Oscar history. The 73rd Academy Awards. These are the men. We have Russell Crowe, who won for Gladiator. We got Javier Bardem, Before Night Falls. Tom Hanks in Castaway. Ed Harris and Jeffrey Rush in Quills. Yeah. What do you got here? I feel like you've seen a couple of these.
I have, yes. I've seen exactly a couple. I've seen Gladiator and I've seen Castaway.
Oh, there you go. I've seen Before Night Falls, but I remember being really tired, and I don't remember the movie too well. I would love to rewatch that one. And Quills has always been kind of on my list.
I don't like Jackson Pollock, so I have not seen Pollock. I'll get to that eventually.
Ed Harris is awesome though, and it's worth watching him because he can do kind of anything. So yeah, watching him play a painter, Pollock. That would be pretty cool.
Russell Crowe is really great in Gladiator. I think he should have won it for A Beautiful Mind, personally.
Interesting.
Insider. I think Gladiator's kind of of the three he was nominated for, I think Gladiator is probably the weakest performance. That movie's more spectacle than character, I think. And that's not, it's still a great movie.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I mean, I love that he gets nominated 3 in a row, 1999, 2000, 2001. Gladiator, to me, it doesn't have the strongest screenplay per se. There's moments where I feel like the story is solid, but sometimes the way we get there isn't the best. And I think Russell Crowe does a really good job of holding that movie together. I think him and Jumon Hansu are just totally kicking ass, and at times you're really saved by some of the shit he's doing as Maximus. Yeah. But I hear you out on that. 2001, he's pretty damn good in A Beautiful Mind.
But to me, there's a guy who I think outshines all the ones I've seen anyway.
Oh yeah.
And that is Guy Pearce in Memento.
That's a good pick.
His performance in that is so jarring, especially after a couple viewings and you realize exactly what's going on here. And just knowing who this guy is and what he's capable of, and him not being aware of that. It's a very layered performance. He plays off everybody in that film so well. Joe Pantoliano, Carrie-Anne Moss. And I think it's the film that really showed people what Guy Pearce is capable of. And I really wish that he'd been nominated for it.
Yeah, I think he's unbelievable in that one. That's a good pick. I definitely looked at that role as one of the strongest, and it definitely should have been nominated. I think it would look completely different if you and I did it. The guy I picked has been nominated a few times. He has a win. He won for The Fighter, 2010. That's Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho.
I was this close.
Yeah, I thought we would overlap on this one specifically. Just a real breathtaking movie, really beautifully shot, just uber dark. And at the center of it, Christian Bale is doing some of the most kind of absurd work he's ever done, right? And when he's just screaming about his stereo and about the music, and I kind of can't get over everything he's doing in this movie. How the physical aspect of it, as well as just this incredible narration. I mean, Patrick Bateman is kind of iconic.
God, I haven't seen American Psycho in such a long time. That's a great shout out. I would love to do that on the Filmgazm podcast. I mean, holy hell, that would be a blast.
Please. American Psycho is got to be one of the strongest, most unique kind of horror movies of this century, right? And when you get a guy like Bale at the beginning of his where he just goes into this different stratosphere after he starts playing Batman, and you're like, whoa, this guy's just everywhere and he's amazing and is doing all kinds of stuff. American Psycho, if you watch that, it makes sense that all this stuff followed.
Yeah.
And I wish it was part. I think he has 4 nominations right now altogether, and I just wish this was one of them. So he's not a guy that's shy when it comes to the the Academy, but I think there's a few from his filmography that they just missed.
Yeah, big time. I agree with that. In fact, one of them will come up later.
There's definitely going to be a few, man. I think we both really like stars. We love amazing, character actors, and we love these people that pop up all the time. And it's just going to happen where we feel like they missed some of their best stuff.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, that's 2000. I think is a year I want to do a lot of research on, but I also have a lot of just personal favorites. So, in American Psycho and Crouching Tiger, Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, and I mean, I think people forget that Mary Herron, directed American Psycho. A woman directed this just awesome, badass movie, and people love to praise, male filmmakers like out the wazoo, and then they don't pay attention when there's one right in front of them. So I just want to give her a shout. I think maybe, in my world, she'd be up for best director.
Yeah, totally understandable. I really want to revisit that. I'm probably going to watch that this week. Nice.
Let's do it on Filmgazm, man. I'm in. Anytime. 2001. Now, we'll go back to the women. We'll go back and forth here. The two wins in 2001 are both wonderful. You got Halle Berry wins for Monsters Ball, Judi Dench nominated for Iris, Nicole Kidman nominated for Moulin Rouge, Sissy Spacek for In the Bedroom, and Renee Zellweger for Bridget Jones' Diary. So this is a good group.
Yeah. I'm so behind on the 2000s acting. I've seen Moulin Rouge and In the Bedroom.
Monsters Ball, bro. Oh. Yeah. Bridget Jones' Diary, I just kind of think that movie sucks, but it's just not really built for my palate. So
yeah,
I don't know. Renee Zellweger is good, but I think she's a tad overrated. I've never seen Iris, but yeah, I think the Halle Berry win is totally justified. She's so fucking good in that movie.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that movie is a rough watch.
Yeah, it's tough. It's got really tough stuff. Heath Ledger's character, Billy Bob's character at the beginning, fucking Sean Diddy Combs is in it. So yeah, his ride is tough. Everybody, it just goes through it a little bit.
Right on. Well, what was your pick here?
You fucking know. Come on now. Mulholland Drive, Naomi Watts. This is easy. This is silly. She plays Betty Elms and Diane Selwyn, two different characters, just beautifully in this movie. Probably David Lynch's masterpiece. So yeah, just silly that she's not nominated.
I never really thought I would like that movie, but I did enough to pick Naomi Watts from Mulholland Drive myself.
Let's go. It's this one's obvious to me.
Yeah.
I think the Academy missed out on a few things with that movie, and that's the main one.
Yeah, she's unbelievable. She makes that movie what it is to me. And the fact she wasn't up is fucking criminal.
Yeah, I think she rivals Halle Berry, but yeah, the fact that she's not in that group is bonkers. Now, we did do In the Bedroom episode 4 of Oscar Sunday, and Sissy is just like, her and Tom Wilkinson are just fucking just choking the shit out of you. And I was very grateful for those two performances in that movie altogether. And that's one that's totally worth being there.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought, Nicole Kidman was pretty good in Moulin Rouge, but I've never really been that big a fan of hers anyway. I
like Kidman. I think Kidman brings it. I think she is a tad overrated when it comes to like the Academy. I think they like her more in favor of people. I think they just it's like they're just one of their favorites.
Yeah.
But she brings it. She brings her punch, to no matter what it is, even if it's like fucking I think she's the one who's in Just Go With It with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston.
I have no idea.
She plays this character named Devlin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her that's in. Yeah. Anyway, it could kind of go on weird tangents, but this is to me Naomi Watts, and I'm glad you also chose her. I'm glad when we were watching a bunch of Lynch stuff and doing a Twin Peaks episode and all that jazz, I'm really glad you liked that one because it is my favorite for sure.
I remember distinctly thinking like this is gonna suck, but I got drawn in, and her performance is a big part of that. And I'm glad we both went there. I knew you were gonna go there, but I figured like I can't go anywhere else.
Easy money, yeah. That was probably. I think that was the first name I wrote down for this entire thing. That one's the easiest. That one's the one I know about, and I'm always been upset about. But the male group here, you have quite possibly the strongest win of the entire decade. Denzel Washington as Alonzo Harris in Training Day. Just holy shit. No taking that from him. You got Russell Crowe for A Beautiful Mind, Sean Penn, I Am Sam, Will Smith for Ali, and Tom Wilkinson for In the Bedroom, who we just spoke about. I've seen all these movies, and yeah, it's just not even close for me. Denzel is just destroying the competition in that movie.
Yeah, he's terrifying. He's fascinating. He's hilarious at times, and just an amazing performance. I love when actors who don't traditionally play villains play super sadistic villains.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, Denzel, people got used to for about 20 years, 15, 20 years, they got used to Denzel being this guy you can always look up to in these movies, right? And then bam, just smacked right in the face. And then he plays Frank Lucas in American Gangster 6 years later. It's like, all right, calm down, my dude. We're not used to that. but it's Training Day has its flaws, many flaws, but Denzel is never a part of that.
Oh yeah. I have not seen I Am Sam, but the other 4 films I have seen.
Yeah, and who do you have for this one?
This was tough. I obviously, have to go with films that I've seen.
Yes.
Performances I can judge for myself. And this was one I always thought stood out in a film that made some waves, but I feel like has been kind of ridiculed since its release. Haley Joel Osment in AI, Artificial Intelligence.
I like that. Good shout.
Yeah, he is astonishing in that film. Playing a robot. The kid doesn't blink the whole movie. That takes talent for, the oldest actors. This kid was like 11 when that came out, and he's fantastic. You believe this kid's journey to want to be a real boy. It's, future Pinocchio. It's a very good movie that I think, people need to revisit. But Haley Joel is fantastic in that, and he was my choice.
Yeah, that would have been his second nomination behind, Sixth Sense. That would have been pretty cool.
Yes, it would.
All before age 12. Pretty cool. Makes me feel unaccomplished. I chose my guy Gene Hackman, a guy who's not, he's pretty familiar with the Academy Awards and movies he's been in, but his work as Royal Tenenbaum in the Royal Tenenbaums, Wes Anderson's 2001 just kick-ass movie. He's amazing. I think he was nominated for the Golden Globe, but then I just think he belongs in this group. And when I rewatch this movie, I've seen it so many goddamn times. He's the one that I kind of find myself waiting for the most. I love what Owen Wilson is doing as Eli Cash. That role is unbelievable. Definitely a supporting type role. But as far as carrying this film, I think Gene Hackman was just kind of a match made in heaven with Wes Anderson at that time. And I would have loved to see old man Gene Hackman have gotten the nom for this movie.
I have yet to tap into Anderson really beyond The Life Aquatic and The Grand Budapest. I'm waiting for really your go ahead on Oscar Sunday to really, dig into that guy.
Well, there's places I would like to go with him for sure, and I think doing a Royal Tenenbaums episode would be really cool. It's up for screenplay. And I think that's one of his most, highest quality films, right? Where I just don't see how you couldn't find yourself having a good time. That's the way I feel about Grand Budapest. I understand if you're not crazy about Bottle Rocket or Rushmore or Life Aquatic or Isle of Dogs, that's fine. But to me, Budapest and Royal Tenenbaums are kind of like just almost perfect.
That's what I hear. And I want to take the plunge. I want to have like an Anderson week and just watch everything he's done. So I can cross him off my list and finally talk about him.
Yeah, we could do on Oscar Sunday, of course. You could do the animated route. You could do Isle of Dogs or Fantastic Mr. Fox, and then you could do the Budapest Hotel and Royal Tenenbaums and stuff that's been live action stuff that's been nominated, and kind of go anywhere with him. And he's one of the people that I know it'll be really like hard to properly articulate how I feel about all of his movies because it's so important to me, and that shit's not easy to like reckon with and admit sometimes it's hard to admit why you love something, because sometimes you just love it. You don't even fucking know.
Oh, believe me, I am. Yeah, I understand that very much.
Hell yeah, man. Cool shit. So Gene Hackman, who'd you have? You had a
Haley Joel.
Oh yeah, I want to make sure we got these down. So we're through 2000, 2001, 2002. Let's move back to the women here. We got Nicole Kidman, who we just spoke about, won for The Hours. We got Selma Hayek up for Frida. We got Diane Lane for Unfaithful. Julianne Moore, Far From Heaven, and Renee Zellweger again for Chicago.
Yeah, I've only seen Chicago.
I've seen Chicago on The Hours. That's it for me. This is not this. Yeah, I mean, with the lack of knowing what these roles are all about, and this is not the most exciting group, right? So for me, I was like, I could just kind of spice this up completely. I gotta throw in something that is kick ass, because I don't see a lot of kick ass things going on here. So I went with Naomi Harris in 28 Days Later as good old Selena. I think her and Cillian Murphy are exquisite alongside one another, and she is doing all kinds of crazy shit. And that movie is just badass, and it's one of my favorite movies from 2002, and she's a big reason why.
I looked at my Letterboxd. I looked at 2002, and I went through the films I've seen, and I thought, I got to trust my instincts. I got to throw some love to one of my favorite horror films. And I went Naomi Harris for 28 Days Later.
Bang, bang, bang. 2001 and 2002, we both go Naomi Watts, Naomi Harris. Let's go.
She's fucking lights out in that movie. She is fantastic. They all are, but she stands out. And it's, yeah, I love that film to death. It's one of my favorites. So
yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. We both had something like this happen. We were doing a recast of some sort, and we both picked Naomi Harris for something.
It was Antebellum.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. We chose Naomi Harris to like replace Janelle Monáe, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. We clearly both really, really like her, respect her.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with James Bond for you. And for me, it has a lot to do with Moonlight.
You'd think it's James Bond. It's actually Pirates of the Caribbean that made me really respect her.
Well, really, it's 28 Days Later. And then those other things. Yeah. I hear that. Pirates of the Caribbean is massive. We're gonna get to somebody from Pirates of the Caribbean soon. I'm excited. Well, not me, but actually nominated. Mr. Johnny Depp will come up soon. That's awesome, man. Both have Naomi Harris. So let's kick it over to the men. I got a fun one here for sure. I feel like it's a little bit predictable, but anyway, Adrian Brody won that year for The Pianist. Nicolas Cage was nominated for Adaptation. Michael Caine for The Quiet American. Daniel fucking Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York, one of his 6 nominations, and Jack Nicholson, one of his 12 nominations, About Schmidt.
Goddamn.
Wow. Look at this group. You got a couple, well, really, you got like 3 Academy dogs, Michael Caine, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Jack Nicholson, people that know what this is all about. Nicolas Cage, he's won 1995. He's been here before. Yeah. Adrian Brody, at the time, the youngest winner ever, this is kind of a big historical win for Adrian Brody. And I think he's pretty great in the, Roman Polanski directed Pianist. It's not my favorite movie of his, but Adrian Brody is very good. For me, I think it's silly how many times he's been overlooked. I brought him up before. And Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love as Barry Egan. Just a mind-boggling performance, and I can't stand that he doesn't get the respect he deserves when he does go out of his box and do things that are not just straight-up comedy, because, God, the guy can fucking act.
I fucking love Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love, and I picked him too.
This is fantastic. Oh my God. Oh, Barry Egan, dude. Well, you get used to a guy, right? You get used to a guy playing, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, these characters. And then you see something like this that's just a few years after all of that, just 3 years after Big Daddy. And he just blows you away in this movie. The fact that he's able to go just straight up toe to toe with Philip Seymour Hoffman tells you a lot.
It's fantastic. I I love seeing films that change my opinion of actors. And, with Uncut Gems and Punch Drunk Love, I gained an entirely new respect for Adam Sandler. And yeah, there's no way he was my first choice for this one. I didn't really explore beyond it. I was like, of course, he was amazing.
Yeah, I didn't budge either. Yeah, this is one of my favorite movies of the year, maybe my favorite movie of the entire year, and just a real weird PTA movie, which is saying something. So, yeah, I love that. We got 3 in a row there: Naomi Watts, Adam Sandler, Naomi Harris. We picked the same people. That's wonderful. I've got a feeling 2003. This was the one where I was like, I feel like we're definitely going to overlap. So I'm curious. I'm curious now. 2003 for the women, you have a really cool role from Charlize Theron for the win in Monster. She's so good in that. And then Keisha Castle-Hughes for Whale Rider, Diane Keaton for Something's Gotta Give, Samantha Morton for In America, and then here's Naomi Watts for 21 Grams. So for 2003, this group is very strong, and it's hard to take one of these women out, especially when I haven't seen all the movies. But why was Uma Thurman not nominated for Kill Bill? Why? What does she have to do? What does she have to do in this movie to be recognized? Fucking ridiculous.
Her work in that film is remarkable, and that's why I also picked Uma Thurman for Kill Bill. Hell, this is great.
I just have a feeling the male group here is going to go the same.
I think it is too.
Sean Penn, the win for Mystic River. Johnny Depp, nominated for Pirates of the Caribbean. Ben Kingsley, House of Sand and Fog. Jude Law for Cold Mountain. God, what a boring movie. And Bill Murray for Lost in Translation. Where the fuck is Aragorn?
Oh.
Where's my boy Viggo Mortensen? Why?
Yeah.
Just because it's Lord of the Rings? Yeah, I don't give a shit. It's one of the best movies, won Best Picture, and he's one of the best parts of the entire thing.
That is a great shout out, and I did not pick Aragorn.
That's shocking.
I know, considering I just saw all 3 films of the movies, and they've been in my head, and I was thinking, like, holy fuck, he's great in this. But there is somebody who, to me, delivers a much more subtle performance in a small Canadian film that did not get any attention, and that is Philip Seymour Hoffman in Owning Mahoney.
Oh, you knew I thought about this. Yeah. Oh, man.
Good God, is that a film that deserves way more attention? What a fantastic, sad movie about gambling addiction. And he is unreal. And enough said.
God, yeah. Great shout. That was the only other person I even thought about, but I had to give Lord of the Rings that due. Oh, man. Owning Mahoney is one of the reasons I respect you as a movie connoisseur. It's one of the very first movies you let me borrow, and I watched it, and I was just on the edge of my seat. I mean, I love movies that deal with gambling and addiction and that kind of stuff, that world. Put PSH in that when I had already seen Hard 8. Like, just fucking feed me, and you really kind of blew my mind with that movie. I love that shout. That's a good one.
My honor. That movie is fantastic, and more people should see it. It's one of the strongest performances, and that is saying something.
Yeah, I think that one, and we both agree that Before the Devil Knows You're Dead are just awesome stuff from Phil. Breathtaking performances.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, yeah, good stuff. All right, well that's 2003. We both had Uma Thurman. You had PSH. I had Viggo. I like it. We'll have some difference here. I think 2004. It's a real strange year. For the women, we got Hilary Swank she got the win for $1 Million Baby. Annette Bening was nominated for her role in Being Julia. Catalina Sandino Marino was nominated for Maria Full of Grace. Imelda Staunton was nominated for Vera Drake. It's a film we just talked about. That's a Mike Leigh movie, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. And then Kate Winslet was nominated for, I would say, the movie that has kind of lasted the longest out of these, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Boring. Boring group. I went with a role that deserved attention 3 times. a character that deserved attention 3 times, never got it. One of them came out in 95, one of them in 2004, one of them in 2013. And that comes from Richard Linklater's Before trilogy. I think Julie Delpy as Celine in Before Sunset, 2004, is just the best stuff I've seen from really anyone. That's my favorite. Her performance in all 3 of the films is like my favorite stuff inside each year as far as performance. She's just, Ethan Hawke's the man, but Julie Delpy's at times running circles around him. She's just something else.
I got to see those movies. I have not checked those
Buckle
out.
up. They're rough. They're rough when you fans like you and I sincerely appreciate and really give ourselves to movies like that. It just slaps you in the face a couple times and is like far too real at moments.
That's what I've heard. Yeah. And, over the course of all these podcasts, I've gained an entirely new respect for Ethan Hawke, as you are well aware of.
Yes.
So.
Hell yeah. We've already brought up, without even really bringing up Ethan Hawke, we brought up Training Day. We brought up Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, movies that he's involved with. The guy is wonderful for sure and has kind of found his own. You and I were talking. He's just kind of like, he's always going to give his effort. He's going to try as hard as he can. He's like the kid on the basketball team who's like diving all over the floor and like can't really shoot at all, but he's trying his fucking hardest all the time. And that should be recognized sometimes.
Yeah, fair enough. I went a little outside the box on this one. It's a film that actually got pretty critically reviled and has not, to a lot of people, aged well, but I find it highly underrated. And I went with Bryce Dallas Howard in The Village.
Ooh, I like that. I think that movie's decent. Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a really cool idea. I think, it's not executed particularly well. It's M. Night's, towards the end of his good phase. But The Village creeps me out. And Bryce Dallas Howard's performance is very good and overlooked. The whole bit where she's, first off, she's playing a blind woman. Second off, when she's like running from Adrian Brody in the woods, I always get, just freaked out by that movie. I like The Village. I don't care what anyone says. So I'm going with Bryce Dallas Howard for my pick.
Good call. And you and I are both the same page that we wish more films like that, more genre, more horror films got that kind of recognition. And she's very good. She's being asked to do a lot in that movie. That's for sure. Good shout. I like that. For the men, I think we both agree that Jamie Foxx just kind of knocks it out of the park. And Ray, Don Cheadle, Hotel Rwanda, Johnny Depp, Finding Neverland, Leonardo DiCaprio, The Aviator, and Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby. Good Lord, what a group.
Oh yeah.
Jesus. That's a crazy group. I've seen all these films, but I do think of these, Jamie Foxx is definitely doing the most and deserved that win amongst those 5. The guy I chose is I don't know what I totally think about his career, but this movie, I just saw it for the first time sometime last summer, shortly after I signed up for Criterion. And I, really like going into they have these sections where it's 3 by whoever. So it's 3 films by this person, 3 films by this person. That's been a really good way for me to get introduced to filmmakers and watch, a set of movies that I know I can knock out. Right.
Yeah.
And so when I remember when I found the Gregg Araki 3 films by Gregg Araki section, I had heard a lot about this guy, how he was huge for the, kind of this wave of movies that's coming out that's giving in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, that's giving LGBTQ members, it's giving them voices that actually reflect what's going on. It's not just kind of like John Hughes bullshit, kind of like stereotype characters. I think Gregg Araki's like at the forefront. I think like Gus Van Sant's a guy you would have to look at. I think those people are really important. And I think Mysterious Skin from 2004 is a just brilliant like sci-fi drama. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt is as Richard Swayze is, no, sorry, his name's Neil in that movie. Thinking of a different role. He's so goddamn good and so off his rocker and doing so many crazy things. It's a role that I just cannot shake. You know, it's kind of got me to my core, and I have not rewatched that movie because it's not the easiest thing to watch, and it really messed with my head because of how good fucking Joseph Gordon-Levitt was, and for that reason, I had to give him a shout out in that movie as well. I think it deserved a lot more attention when it came out.
Right on. I remember when you were going through the Rocky films on Criterion, when I kept getting the reviews. I remember reading them, and you were very into those films. And totally fucked up is fucking awesome. And then, but Mysterious Skin is just like on a different level. Yeah, for sure. I went a lot more lighthearted on my pick. I've always enjoyed this film. It's not listed among Spielberg's greatest, but it's an endearing comedy and a heartwarming drama, and it's one of my favorite Tom Hanks performances, and that is The Terminal.
Yes.
Tom Hanks is, I think Victor Navorsky is his character's name. And just this guy who's, while mid-flight, his country of origin goes through a coup and his passport's no longer valid, which means he can't go home and he can't enter the United States. So he is trapped at JFK International Airport indefinitely, and he has to make a life there. And the people, like he makes friends. He, like, the people who work there recognize him. The constant flyers recognize him. He learns how to speak English, and he helps people with their problems. And it's just such a sweet film. And Tom Hanks is so good, and you want this guy to succeed. Tucci is such a dick in that movie, constantly impeding his journey towards immigration, and just seeing, Victor do whatever he can to find a home somewhere is wonderful. And Tom Hanks always delivers, in my opinion. And
yeah,
I love that movie.
Yeah, one of the most professional and solid actors to ever live. I totally get why you would shout him out, and I figured he would come up at some point. I like that. That's a movie I have not seen in a long time. I like that. I like that shout out. That's that wraps up 2004. We're about halfway done here. 2005. Back to the women. This is the year Reese Witherspoon got the win for playing June Carter Cash in Walk the Line. Judi Dench was nominated for Mrs. Henderson Presents. Felicity Huffman was nominated for Trans America. Keira Knightley was nominated for Pride and Prejudice. And Charlize Theron was nominated for North Country. 2005, what a fascinating year. This one was actually, for both men and women, I had to really dig deep and do some research on this one.
Yeah.
For movies I've seen, and really kind of stack them up against one another. And for both, I kind of went with a random one. I don't know how to pronounce her name exactly. I'm going to go for it, though. Kioranka Kilcher, I think. She plays Pocahontas in The New World. Terrence Malick's 2005 borderline masterpiece. Awesome movie. Just totally epic. Christopher Plummer delivers one of my favorite performances of his career in that movie. But and Colin Farrell is great. But it's really this woman playing Pocahontas who just totally steals the show and gives Pocahontas a proper representation, which was desperately needed.
Yes.
Wish the movie was a bit more popular. It is like 3 hours and not the most accessible film, so I understand that. But I think it's very good, and I think people should check it out. And she's so good.
That's great. Yeah, you've told me about The New World a few times, and I think that is, I have so many problems with Disney's Pocahontas, that being like the definitive version of that story, that I would like to see something different. So I think I will check out The New World if I can somehow get a hold of it.
Yeah, it was on Criterion in a 3 by Malick thing. It had Days of Heaven, Badlands, and The New World were the 3 that were in that. I watched all 3 of them, and had a fucking great time.
That's awesome. My pick may surprise you because I have talked a lot of shit about this actress.
Okay.
Natalie Portman for V for Vendetta.
Oh, so good. That was one of the ones yeah, that's a good call.
V for Vendetta is a badass movie. And I don't, Alan Moore's work has not been the best, the most well adapted over the years, but I think that one in particular stands out. And Natalie Portman's transformation from, regular girl to anarchist is believable and exciting. And she has great chemistry with Hugo Weaving. And it's a solid flick. And I thought she was fantastic in it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I really like that. And we both realize a lot, even when maybe it's not one of our favorite people or something, that there's probably something really good to offer, somewhere in that filmography. We both, I feel like, go through that sometimes.
I've had to eat a lot of crow on these podcasts when I find, a film that stars an actor I don't like who does a great job. And I got to be like, well, I was wrong. I've had to fess up quite a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Just talking about Malick, when I wrote my Tree of Life review, I talked about how I didn't like that movie when I first watched it. I was like 16, 17. And then when I watched it now, like a year ago, I was just kind of just taken aback by it. And that's like the power of rewatching, the power of time, the power of having more references, having more knowledge of the history of this thing. That shit matters so much. Context fucking matters. That's for sure. I love it, man. This is I love doing shit like this, looking at these categories and picking stuff we love. The males here makes me want to cry looking at a couple of these names. You got Philip Seymour Hoffman, the man, with the win for Capote. You got Terrence Howard was nominated for Hustle and Flow. Heath Ledger's nominated for Brokeback Mountain. Joaquin Phoenix for Walk the Line, and David Stratham for Good Night and Good Luck. I didn't really even feel like picking one for this, to be honest with you, my man. I went with something just completely off the wall because I just don't really care to take this away from my guy. Nor do I really care to take anything away from Heath Ledger, who, to me, gave his best performance of his career in Brokeback Mountain as Ennis Delmar. God damn you, Jack. I think about Ennis Delmar all the time, more than I do the Joker. I know that's silly to a lot of people, but Ennis Delmar is the character. I chose John Hawkes in Me and You and Everyone We Know. It's a Miranda July movie from 2005. Really, really cool movie, and John Hawkes is awesome in it. But I just didn't really care to do this year.
Yeah, this is a stacked year. It features two powerhouse actors we lost way too soon, delivering some of their finest work. And Brokeback Mountain, I'm so glad I finally watched that movie back in the day. I was touched. I mean, that is one of the most beautiful love stories I've ever seen, and it had me in tears almost the whole time. Yeah, it's hard to pick anybody who can stack up against those guys. And the guy I picked, admittedly, doesn't, but it's a good performance that I think could have if these guys hadn't been there. It's a very evil performance. It's if you read this film the correct way, and that is Patrick Wilson in Hard Candy.
Wow, good fucking call.
Yeah, that is one of the darkest films I've ever sat through. Seeing Patrick Wilson and Elliot Page just go back and forth like that, not knowing really who the bad guy is until the end. And good God, yeah, the way the movie fucks with you and just, makes you sympathize with both sides at random moments. That is a brilliant film. And Patrick Wilson is lights out. Yeah, I wish that had gotten more love with the Academy.
Hell yeah. Good. That's a movie. Talk about a movie worth rewatching. And Patrick is a guy who's just never going to get his due. No. Ever. Nope. Never. And he's a part of so many wonderful things. Popular, unpopular, kind of niche stuff, cult stuff. He's a part of it all. And I'm so grateful for him. I think he's awesome. I think he's someone we're just going to regret not cherishing more while he's in his prime.
Yeah, but also I think I'm excited to see him play like older, gruffer, gruff character in his
dude.
later years. I feel like this guy's going to be like a Harry Dean Stanton around forever kind of guy.
Oh man, God, I hope so. Yeah, good shit. That I love that. Bring up some of these people. Yeah, just gets me a little too excited sometimes. Oh man, yeah. I knew that was coming. Talking about 2005 is not. It's just a guy who is one of the best. Philip Seymour Hoffman, a guy who only got to do it into his 40s, but was at the peak of his powers. What he's doing in The Master is the guy goes out to me on top, And Heath Ledger, you could say the exact same thing. There's no doubt in my mind that he's doing some of the most amazing work we've ever seen, while he was here in his early mid-20s before he passed away. I think that guy was on a path to total domination, and you and I, while obviously they both have a lot of fans, I know you and I, we named our acting award on Oscar Sunday after Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
The guy matters, means a lot to us. Your cat's name is Seymour. I know you didn't name it exactly after PSH, but that's got to be somewhere in your mind, right?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Yeah, always. I love the guy to death, and so really glad. Capote's just an awesome movie, awesome performance. Him and Catherine Keener are totally knocking it out of the park. So really like that he got that win. 2006. I feel like where I'm going with the women here. I've talked about it on Oscar Sunday. We did a whole episode around a movie this movie that I'll talk about. Helen Mirren won for The Queen. Penelope Cruz is up for Revolver. Is that how you say it?
Revolver? Yeah, I think so.
I think that's right. I don't. Judi Dench, Penelope Cruz is great. I haven't seen that one, but I would like to. Judi Dench, Notes on a Scandal. Meryl Streep, The Devil Wears Prada, and Kate Winslet for Little Children. Little Children. This is a movie you and I have got to get on. This is Todd Field, same guy who did In the Bedroom.
Ooh.
And these are the only two feature-length films he's done where he's been writer and director. So I feel like we gotta find our way to that movie at some point because we both really dug in The Bedroom.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Good shit. Who do you have for 2006? Because you know where I'm going.
I think I went the same place. Toni Collette, Little Miss Sunshine.
Easy does it. Yeah. No question about it. As Cheryl, yeah, she's unbelievable. Perfect. Everyone's perfect in that movie, but she's maybe the most perfect. Her and Alan Arkin, where he was there. He actually got to compete. She did not get to compete for Best Actress, and I think that's a damn shame.
So many times in her career has she been just overlooked for some reason. I don't understand why. And I will sing her praises forever. I feel like I've gone on so many tangents on all of these shows, just randomly praising Toni Collette. And I'll keep doing it because she's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's never going to stop. If she keeps doing amazing shit every fucking year, I have no choice. I have no choice but to be Toni Collette might be one of the best actresses to ever live. I have no choice but to say that when this keeps happening, whether it be her giving it her 110% in Velvet Buzzsaw, or her in Hereditary, or her in Little Miss Sunshine, or The Sixth Sense. I love every single thing she does.
Yep. Same. I figured that there was some surefire overlap on my list, and I knew that was going to be one of them. That was that. I had that one in Uma Thurman. I was like, those two for sure. I mean, we both feel a certain way about both movies. That one was easy, and I really do think, to my knowledge, it's not just a performance worth a nomination. It's possibly a performance worth a win, and we wish Toni Collette. We hope she gets a win one day. That'd be really cool. Oh yeah, I'll be so excited.
For the men here, an uber fascinating group. Forrest Whitaker won for The Last King of Scotland. Leonardo DiCaprio was up for Blood Diamond. Ryan Gosling, who at the time was, it might still be, the youngest nominated actor for the category. He was like 26 or something. You got Peter O'Toole for Venus, and then Will Smith for The Pursuit of Happiness. Just crazy group. I really love Half Nelson. It's one of my favorite movies from 2006. I really wish he would have won, but I think these are the years where my mind, when I'm kind of okay with the group, my mind just wanders to like a totally different place of like what could have been unique.
Yeah.
And one of my very favorite movies from 2006 is Bong Joon-ho's The Host, and our man who's playing one of the lead roles in Parasite, Kang Ho Song, also plays the main character in The Host. Gang-do Park is his name. And that movie is just something else, on its own. But when you're breaking down the performance, and Kang Ho Song, just as a performer, he's got everything in his bag. Every little thing you want out of a person on the screen. He's impeccable comedic timing, impeccable. He can kind of get to this nasty place in moments if he needs to. And, I know you and I have other movies that he's kind of shook us in, right? he's one of the more expressive actors that I've watched, where his face is doing as much work as his voice, and I really like The Host. And then when I rewatched it like right after Parasite came out and kind of had all that buzz. I was just like, this might be the better movie. And like The Host, I think, is the one that we'll look back on Bong Joon-ho's career and be like, what the fuck were we all doing? This movie is a masterpiece. It's one of the best monster movies of all time. That's where like my head is at with it. And I think he's got the best, strongest performance inside the movie. And I wish the Academy, especially of old, would have done more stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, for the 2000s, it's got two strikes against it. It's a foreign film and it's a horror film. So
yeah.
Good luck.
Exactly. Monster movie. Yeah.
Oh my God. I bought that a while back and I still haven't watched it. I'm waiting for it to come up on the show. There's a lot of movies that I'm waiting for my first reactions for the show, and The Host is one.
It's just gonna blow your fucking mind. Yeah, you're gonna love that movie. It's great. It really is. It's really I think, like, you've seen Snowpiercer, right? It's just like constant entertainment. Bah, 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 bah. The beat, the tempo is just, this is what you go to see movies for, is that tempo of just bam, 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 movie making, and he's one of the best at it the past 20 years. He's just got such control.
Yeah, he's amazing. I went with a filmmaker who is also lights out, doing a film that might be my favorite of his that's non-superhero related. In a performance that, spoiler alert, is a dual performance, a secret dual performance, and that is Christian Bale in The Prestige.
Oh, man. Good call.
Alfred Borden, the man who is willing to do whatever it takes to be the greatest magician in London. And that film gets better every time I watch it. I love that movie to death. It's one of Nolan's strongest films, and Christian Bale, that's the first time I ever found out he was English, first of all. And
yeah,
he did that in between the, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. And just, good God. The first time I watched that, I couldn't fucking believe that Christian Bale was playing two characters the whole time. I was so, like, I couldn't comprehend it.
It to me is quite possibly Nolan's best twist.
Yeah.
His whole career.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it is. Yeah. I think it is. I think Interstellar has a moment where it really just punches you right in the face, but The Prestige is like, gives you the kind of that weird thing down your neck where you're like, oh shit, I don't know about this. And it just kind of changes your whole attitude about the movie. And that's a great shout. I love that Christian Bale has been brought up now by both of us for different stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's because he's one of the best. That's a guy who, no matter who you're talking to, they're going to point out a couple, because that guy has been everywhere for the past 25 years and is so bloody talented.
Absolutely. He's fantastic. And that was I liked him as Batman. And then I saw The Prestige, and I'm like, this guy's a fantastic actor. And I paid attention from there on out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No kidding. Yeah. And then of course we're both 15 when The Fighter comes out, and he's just, you're just, him and Melissa Leo are like, what is acting? He just changes everything for you. And that's the stuff. That's that shit when you're younger and you recognize this guy's an actor. Holy shit. Stuff's really powerful. I love it, man. That's wraps up 2006. Let's move on to 2007. One of my favorite years of all time. A lot of movies that I just really, really adore came out this year, and some wonderful performances along with it. For the women, Marion Cotillard won for La Vie en Rose. Doesn't seem to be a performance that it's like aged too well, because no one really talks about it. But I haven't seen it, so I would like to knock that one out. Cate Blanchett was up for Elizabeth, the Golden Age. Julie Christie nominated for Away from Her. Laura Linney up for The Savages, which she acts alongside PSH. They're both awesome in it. And then Elliot Page for Juno. Interesting group. And I went completely off the wall again on this year. I went with a foreign filmmaker and a foreign actress. One that kind of also shook me that I watched this past year. After I saw Portrait of a Lady on Fire, I just got into this Celine Sciamma just fucking binge where I was like, I got to see it all. I got to see it over and over. Who is this? Who the fuck just made this movie that I saw? And I had to find out who Adele Hanel was. She's one of the lead performers in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and at one point dated Celine Sciamma, and just opened me up to this whole world of water lilies, tomboy, girlhood, portrait. She's Celine Sciamma is one of my favorite directors in her prime right now. And Water Lilies from 2007 features a performance by Adele Hanel that is totally breathtaking. And her name's Florian in the movie. And it's kind of like to me, a textbook, like award-worthy performance, but maybe because it's French and this and that, it didn't get the right kind of momentum during that year. And that's fine. But I really do think that this is kind of like a textbook, pay attention, holy shit, look at this girl acting kind of performance.
That's great. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, see, I post all these reviews, so I know when you get into these, like obsessed with filmmakers, and you just
benders, yeah,
and it's always awesome to see, the passion there, and that's great.
Yeah, Celine's the man. She's awesome.
I went with a performance I've always loved because of how duplicitous it is. And that is Helena Bonham Carter in Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Beautiful pick.
Mrs. Lovett, the ultimate Black Widow, and just a horrible human being who manipulates a serial killer into trying to fall in love with her. And just once you realize the full extent of how much she kept from him and how, like, it's so cold and so heartbroken, and God, when he just hurls her into that fucking oven, you just feel great. But yeah, Helena Bonham Carter did such a fantastic job making you love and hate her at the same time. And I thought it was fantastic. Her singing was great. Love that movie.
Yeah, and Helena is someone who has been involved in so many things that we adore. Yeah. A woman who's a part of Fight Club, to playing Bellatrix in Harry Potter, to being in Sweeney Todd. These are things we're just obsessed with by kind of our nature. And I really like that. I had a feeling you were going to go there because on the other side, Johnny Depp was nominated. So I just had a feeling you were going to kind of shout out Bonham because she's just as good.
Yeah, it's, I'm a huge Burton fan. I want to like most of his work so bad, but he has done some of my favorite films. Sweeney Todd ranks right up there.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. And I think prime pickings for Oscar Sunday.
Yeah, and it could work just as well on Filmgazm. It's one of those films that walks in both worlds. Exactly.
It really does. And I mean, even, I'd be silly. We'd be silly to not bring up, Alan Rickman, who just brings that movie to like another level, which is what he does, right? That's what he did. Jesus Christ, that movie. And Timothy Spall too, Sacha Baron Cohen. Like, fuck, it's just stacked. Yeah, I want to rewatch that now. Yeah. Good stuff. For the men, as I mentioned, this is one of my favorite years of all time, and There Will Be Blood's a big part of that, right? Daniel Day-Lewis getting the win here, his second win of 3 in his career, and he just is maybe the best to ever do it. George Clooney was nominated for Michael Clayton, Johnny Depp for Sweeney Todd, Tommy Lee Jones for In the Valley of Elah. I have not seen that movie. I'm not sure.
It's great.
Yeah, I've heard great things, and I'm not surprised that you've seen it. Tommy Lee's awesome. And then Viggo Mortensen for Eastern Promises. It's a cool group. Pretty popular guys here as well. Some people that a lot of people know these guys' names. And you're not really taking anything away from DDL. There's not really a way to steal this from Daniel Day-Lewis. I mentioned earlier that Denzel Washington probably has the strongest win of the decade. This is the guy that rivals that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about those two, Daniel Day-Lewis, 3 wins, 6 nominations altogether. Denzel Washington, 2 wins, 8 nominations altogether. What's more valuable to you?
Nominations.
Having more nominations? Yeah.
I think that, that points out a more recognition by the Academy, more films for me to want to go find.
Okay.
I think that matters. But again, a win also means a lot more, because that means, the Academy picked that person. But is Daniel Day-Lewis's performance in There Will Be Blood better than his performance in Gangs of New York? And is that better than his performance in Phantom Thread? Like, how do you judge worthiness like that?
Yeah, I think you have to just look at the context within the Oscars. So for Daniel Day, it would be My Left Foot, There Will Be Blood, Lincoln. Those are the 3 gold, 3 golden statues that he has. And for Denzel, you look at Glory and you look at Training Day. Those are the 2 statues that he has. And the question would be, do you get extra love because you got more gold, or because you have more nominations? And this to me, this goes down to a lot of different things. Like, a lot of people argue about Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Michael Jordan went to the finals 6 times and won every single time. People think that that's more valuable than LeBron, who's going to go, we don't know yet. He's gone double-digit amount of times. So he could go 12 times or 13. We don't know yet because he's not done. But he might double the amount of times that Michael Jordan went to the finals, but he didn't win every time. So people look at that as like, well, what do you want, the batting average where they just destroy every time that they go there? Or do you want to go there as many times as possible?
The way I look at it with film personally is, with a win, that's the Academy saying this person's performance was better than these other 4.
Yes.
And I don't always agree with that. But
For sure.
With nominations, no. When they say like this person was good enough to be nominated for an Academy Award, I oftentimes think, yeah, they were. They deserve the nomination at least. The wins aren't always correct in my opinion, but the nominations usually are.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You got less of a chance of it being wrong because it's a 1-of-1 win, whereas there's 4 nominated. I get what you mean. I get what you mean by that. And I would much prefer Peter O'Toole. He's got a handful of nominations, never got a win. I would rather have that than just like 1 win on 1 nomination.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I think it gets interesting in particular with Daniel Day-Lewis and Denzel Washington because of the numbers and how they match up.
Yeah.
And me, I've broken this down into a point system where they both have equal amount of points. They both have 12 points based on if you got 3 points for a win. So Daniel Day-Lewis would have 9 points for his wins and then a point for the nomination. So then you have 3 more points equaling 12. Denzel would have 6 points for the 2 wins and then 6 extra points for the other nominations, also 12. In my eyes, it's kind of equal. It's kind of like those 2 guys are on level playing ground. But Jack Nicholson has 3 wins on 12 nominations. And so he's in a different kind of category as far as the Oscars go.
Yeah, there's different ways to look at it. It really just comes down to personal preference and like what you
exactly
the Oscars kind of mean to you. And my thoughts on the Oscars are always changing. They're it's going to be different tomorrow. It's just
exactly. Well, it really is. There's no way to say it really is kind of silly, the whole thing, right? We know that, saying this is better than this is better than this, and kind of casting away things and not even watching some things. you know, that's really not the right way to do it. But you and I love looking at context and seeing within these 5, what would you swap out? What would you change? What would you take out? Who deserves it? That's fun. That's fun to just look at for like history's sake and for context's sake.
Yes.
So with that being said, I chose Jake Gyllenhaal as Robert Graysmith in Zodiac for 2007.
Yeah. No surprise there. That's Zodiac's one of your favorite films, and that's a great performance.
He's only been nominated once for Brokeback Mountain supporting. The guy didn't even get nominated for Nightcrawler. Like, come on, what does he have to do? Shit sucks. Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the best, man. He's one of the best guys we got right now.
I agree with that for sure. So you mentioned that no one's taken this award away from Daniel Day-Lewis. 2007, There Will Be Blood. Well, the guy I picked could have done it. The guy I picked,
Jonah Hill, Superbad.
You got me. Actually, Michael Cera. No. God, can you imagine? I went with a performance that literally I've not stopped thinking about since I saw it. A film that features an actor's finest hour, and that is Philip Seymour Hoffman, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
I love it. I knew it.
The only actor I picked twice.
Oh, yeah, rightly so. Yeah.
And this film, there's a scene after he confronts his father, Albert Finney, and has a meltdown in the car.
Whew.
And I felt it. I still feel it. That is the most real performance I've ever seen. That one just bit in the car where he just collapses into screams and tears and becomes a child again. And you believe it. Holy shit, do you believe it? And, that film is very personal to him. He's playing a heroin addict.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And he brought a lot of himself into that role, and you feel it. I mean, it's amazing he wasn't considered. And if he was, I think he could have taken that from DDL. I really think he could have.
Yeah, it's hard. That's so difficult.
Yeah,
I love that shout. We've already mentioned it. It's one of his best moments as an actor, and I definitely think he should have been nominated. It's just so difficult to look at that DDL, that Daniel Plainview specifically. That role is so daunting. What a cool matchup, though, that would be if we could put PSH in there with DDL. Oh man,
Clash of the Titans. Yeah, I don't know how that would end up.
Yeah, well, and it's also a clash of like Paul Thomas Anderson's boy, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Paul Thomas Anderson's, this guy that kind of took over was like, okay, I'm going to work with this guy on There Will Be Blood and Phantom Thread, and those things matter. Again, context matters to me a lot, and I would have loved to see PSH and DDL go at one another. Another thing I wish would have happened was like Adam Sandler being in that world. He has a lot of respect from those guys, and Daniel Day-Lewis famously like called Adam Sandler and like he was like, I hope you get nominated for what you did in Uncut Gems. And that shit matters to me. All those little things, they just matter because I just care about the kind of point A to point B. I care about how we get there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The context has greatly changed the way I've thought about a lot of films. And these podcasts have provided an avenue for that context.
Yes.
It's been great.
Exactly. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity to just fucking ooze about the individuals I love. 2008. Man, oh man. This is one I had a lot of fun with. These two people I think just are titans that I picked, and I'm really excited to hear yours. 2008, Kate Winslet won for The Reader. Anne Hathaway was nominated for Rachel Getting Married. Angelina Jolie for Changeling. Melissa Leo for Frozen River. And Meryl Streep for Doubt. Oh boy, Doubt. Fuck. Talk about an acting clinic. Really, all four of them, PSH, Meryl Streep, Viola Davis, and Amy Adams, are really all just kind of doing perfect work. That movie's money. And for me, I would love to have seen Meryl Streep get another win right there. I think she's so goddamn good in it. But Kate Winslet, I've seen The Reader. It's not bad. But for me, totally missing Kelly Reichardt's entire career as it as it happens before them, the Academy. They don't know what the fuck they're watching. Michelle Williams plays Wendy in Wendy and Lucy. Just a stellar performance where Wendy and Lucy is a dog, and these two characters, woman and dog, just kind of roam and try to figure some stuff out through just a few days. It is a breathtaking movie. Kelly Reichardt's totally on top of her game, as she always is. But Michelle Williams, is one of our, I think, finer performers. That's of a certain age, right? Like kind of under 40, working in her prime, kind of thing. She's familiar. She's been to the Oscars before. She knows what it's like to be here, right? Yeah. So I just think they missed one of her best roles of her career in Wendy and Lucy. But I think that has more to do with they just totally like ignore Kelly Reichardt, and it just at this point is kind of fucking getting old. I don't know what she has to do. Like First Cow is like, who else is making a movie that looks as good as this? She's amazing, and Michelle's kind of her girl. And I think Michelle has kind of deserved to be up multiple times. She was up in 2010 and 2011, but there's a lot of stuff in her filmography that should be there.
Yeah, I agree. Michelle Williams is lights out, fantastic, and I trust your judgment on that film. I have not seen that one. I think Kelly Reichardt, First Cow is the only one I've watched.
Yeah, I think you'd really dig Winnie and Lucy. River of Grass is, her debut. And I for one love seeing the growth of somebody. And she, like, if you watch River of Grass and then First Cow, it is like transformation of the ages. I mean, she just becomes again, on top of her game the whole time director. And River of Grass is this kind of verite style, just like, oh, whoa, wonky, just totally different, And so you see how she's just grown into this totally controlled filmmaker that knows exactly what she's doing. So cool.
That's great. Yeah, fantastic. I definitely would like to check out her work. I went with two filmmakers we are very, very familiar with.
Yeah.
Joel and Ethan Coen and Frances McDormand's work in Burn After Reading.
Yes.
An actress who is currently possibly up for a third Oscar. We will see next Sunday. And her work in Burn After Reading is so off the fucking wall. That is such a weird movie. And she's great as usual. She's a character you believe, works in a gym, wants plastic surgery, and is like just dating random guys. I believe it. Ends up blackmailing a CIA dude. It's fucking crazy. But she keeps that film grounded and keeps me thinking like, yeah, this could happen.
Incredible. I had a feeling. You were gonna go there. Some of these I was kind of trying to guess throughout the day. I was like, there's just something in me that told me that's where Connor's going. Good stuff. Yeah. But you could probably predict me going with Kelly Reichardt at some point. Yeah.
There's a few of these I didn't guess them, but I should have. Like I recognize the names.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. They're definitely in like the subconscious, just like, oh yeah, I remember talking about that. They just talk about so many goddamn movies. That's just how it's gonna go. The Men here, 2008. This is really the 81st Academy Awards are fascinating altogether. This particular group, I want to see these 5 guys in like a heist movie or some bullshit. It'd be really funny. You got Sean Penn, one for Milk, Richard Jenkins for The Visitor. You got Frank Langella for Frost Nixon, Brad Pitt for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and Mickey Rourke for The Wrestler. Jesus, what a crazy group.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I've only seen Milk and Frost Nixon.
I thought I haven't seen The Visitor, but I really thought we talked about The Wrestler at some point. I don't know who that was with, but Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I know you'll eventually knock out all the Fincher stuff, and that'll just happen one day.
Yeah, it will.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. Now I Michael Fassbender is one of the titans to me, and he plays Bobby Sands in Hunger in 2008. Steve McQueen's feature length debut film, in a performance that really is the film. It's got some awesome stuff coming from Steve McQueen, but if it weren't for Michael Fassbender, his dedication to playing Bobby Sands, who is on hunger strike. So this, you can imagine what Fassbender is going through to kind of get his body to look a certain way. And it is disgusting. It's disgusting what he went through, what he did, this and that, to just look how he was supposed to look for Bobby Sands. And then the movie is just awesome. It's just fantastic, And to me, Steve McQueen's masterpiece. I think there's no doubt about it in my mind. A movie that needs to be just totally reevaluated and totally needs to be. People need to act like it just came out. Like it just deserves to be talked about the same way anything Steve McQueen's done, anything Michael Fassbender's done. To me, his best performance of his whole career. In Hunger, Bobby Sands, great stuff. I can't believe he's not here.
That says a lot. I've ever since X-Men First Class, I have been obsessed with Fassbender, and he's remarkable. I'm surprised he hasn't been up for more Oscars. And Hunger is definitely one that's piqued my interest, and I want to see that.
Oh yeah, it is so far up Connor Avenue. Yeah, you're dealing with some Irish history at a very specific time and place. And you got a guy, Steve McQueen, who just fucking gives a shit about what he's talking about. He really gives a shit. Everything he does, he really cares about how he's telling the story. And that matters. That matters a lot.
Absolutely. I also went with a biopic.
Nice.
A very bizarre story of a man who spent decades in solitary confinement. And that is Tom Hardy in Bronson.
Great pick. Oh, man. See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. It's Tom Hardy. We're going to look back and be like, what were we doing?
Yeah. Bronson is a weirdo movie, and Tom Hardy is fascinating in that. He plays so many different parts of this guy's personality. There's a moment where he's dressed as a fucking clown doing like a theatrical thing, and I thought like he would have made a great Joker. And it really shows his range and the story of this dude who created an alias named Charles Bronson because he spent so much time alone under a prison is fucking crazy. And leave it to Tom Hardy to bulk up, shave his head, grow a handlebar mustache, and just chew the scenery to hell in that performance. It's lights out.
Maybe his best stuff. Maybe Tom Hardy's finest hour. Great shout out. I didn't really even think about that. That one that's one I feel kind of silly that I didn't even think about that one. It is such a good movie. That would be, what do you think, a cool Filmgazm movie, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We could go Bronson. That's a weird enough movie that it counts. Hell yeah.
I would love to be on that. That'd be fun as shit. Shall we do the last year here?
Let's do this. I'm very excited about my picks for this year. These were my favorite ones.
Yeah. The male here, I feel very strongly about. The female one is one that I'm not. I've only seen the movie once. There's been the case for some of these that I've watched like in the past year and just have kind of rocked me. But let's get down to it. 2009 for the women, Sandra Bullock won. Just a total bullshit Oscar win. for The Blind Side. She is just, I mean, at times not even trying. Might as well have given her the fucking award for Crash too while you're at it. Fucking lazy bastards. Helen Mirren was nominated for Last Station. Pretty good movie. Carey Mulligan for An Education. Awesome movie. Gabori Sidibe for Precious, and Meryl Streep for Julie and Julia. Meryl Streep, 21 total nominations, so she's just going to come up all the time.
Yeah. See, the more I've seen, the more I think like I don't think all those nominations are should be there.
No. God damn no. Fuck no. I mean, there's no way. I mean, if you really looked at every year, a lot of these just would look totally different. I mean, if you really watched every movie, there's just no way that 21 for one person. There's just no way.
Not at all.
Just not paying attention. You just chose like 8 movies and you're like, I'm going to pick 5 out of these 8 for the nominations.
Well, who'd you pick?
The woman I chose for the last year here of this project is Isabelle Huppert for her role as Maria Viel in White Material. It's a Claire Denis movie, 2009. She apparently is like a French goddess, is someone who just dominates the scene over there. And I've heard of her, I've seen her and stuff, but I never quite paid attention until I watched White Material. And this movie totally threw me for a loop. I was kind of blown away by it. It was the reason I watched it was on the Criterion Channel. There's a section called Adventures in Moviegoing, and they always got these individuals, filmmakers and writers and whatnot, actors that suggest movies and then talk about them. And Barry Jenkins, my guy, Moonlight and Beale Street, we've done an episode on both of those over on Oscar Sunday. He's the man. I'm obsessed with his eye. He suggested Y tu mamá también, Three Colors out of France, and he also suggested White Material. And of course, I watched a couple of those, and White Material just kind of floored me. And I totally saw the way Claire Denis approaches nature. I see in Barry Jenkins, and for that reason, you're like really grateful for those things. But the best part of the movie is Isabelle Huppert, is this performance as Maria, who's just carrying this movie and is fending off people who are trying to kill her and take stuff from her fucking farm. She's trying to take care of her son who's got mental problems, and all this shit happens, and she's just like, what the fuck? Like where do I have to turn? And it's a classic, again, textbook style, like award-worthy performance. And I just don't understand when those aren't there. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, it is odd. I'm familiar with her work as well, and I've heard she's remarkable. I also went with a French woman.
Oh, nice.
Melanie Laurent in Glorious Bastards.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Shoshana Dreyfus, the real hero of this film.
Au revoir, Shoshana.
Just from the beginning, running through a field covered in her family's blood, to just everything she goes through in this film, like the story that the bastards don't even know about. It's an amazing performance. The scene where for me, the scene that she deserved a nomination for is when she's at the cafe and Landa shows up, and she has to hold the fear and the rage and the anger and just sadness and hold that inside of her so that she doesn't reveal who she really is. And as soon as he walks away, she just lets it fall apart. And the strength of that performance is underrated as hell. And
yeah,
I think she's amazing in that.
Yeah, I think is the most underrated part of the movie, as it has like lived on and become, a lot of people see it as Tarantino's masterpiece, right? They see it as like his most quality, solid, strong film. And I totally understand that. I think she's one of the things you should talk about though, when that comes up. Yes. And she's not Christoph Waltz, Brad Pitt, you just want to fucking stroke those guys. They're great. But there's other things happening in the movie. You know what I mean? Michael Fassbender, Jesus. The list goes on and on. That movie's got like handfuls of really cool performances. And yeah, I like that shout out. I kind of felt like that was coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it last night. I was like, you get drawn in. It's an incredible watch. It's a fun watch. It's a satisfying watch, and I got nothing but great things to say.
Oh yeah, same. There is nothing bad to say for me about about that shit. Maybe the best movie from that whole year. But my favorite movie of the whole year is what we'll be talking about here in a second. Jeff Bridges won for the men in Crazy Heart. He beat George Clooney, Up in the Air, Colin Firth, A Single Man, Morgan Freeman, Invictus, and Jeremy Renner in The Hurt Locker. I've seen all of these. Jeff Bridges is great. Clooney is great. Renner's pretty good. I think Invictus is just not a good movie, like, at all. And so I hate to see that one kind of get represented here, because I just don't think Morgan Freeman has a whole lot to work with, and it's just not the strongest performance. For me, where's Michael Stuhlbarg? Larry Gopnik, A Serious Man.
Yeah.
Another, I was trying to find stuff that, like, to me, another textbook, like, why is that not nominated? That's like the shit they fucking go for every year. Why is he not why is he not there? And that, I was trying to find some of those, and to me, Michael Stuhlbarg is in that category from 2009. I think A Serious Man is, one of my favorite Coen movies, right? And just one of my favorite movies of the decade, and probably my favorite movie of 2009.
Yeah, I'm not surprised in the slightest. You've sung that film's praises many times.
Yeah, I love it. So honestly, at this point, I should probably just, shut up, because I've said it over and over. Larry Gopnik. Yes, A Serious Man.
I went far outside the box on this one to a performance.
No Brad Pitt.
It's not Brad Pitt.
I am shocked.
I know.
I'm shocked you don't have Brad Pitt for Bastards.
It was Brad Pitt. And then I looked into my letterbox and I was like, no. Yeah. And I looked and I'm like, that film has resonated with me particularly, not with a lot of people, but it's a performance I adore, because it wasn't supposed to be this guy. Nobody wanted him, but he did it and he pulled it off. And it is Jackie Earle Haley in Watchmen.
Whoa. Whoa. Damn. Yeah, that is out of left field.
Rorschach. Yes. That guy makes that film so much more watchable than it has any business being. I love that film because of him. His performance as Rorschach is lights out from beginning to end, and I wish he was recognized. He's an amazing actor, and he sells that performance so good.
God, man, what a shout out. Yeah, I was not ready for that. I was not expecting that. I didn't think we'd bring up Watchmen like ever on this on this or Oscar Sunday, or I thought I would just stay with that film, guys. That's awesome. We talked about him a ton when we did talk about Watchmen, and it felt like we were just on the same page that he's 100% the MVP of the movie. Just kind of unscathed, unmoved throughout the film, and you're just you kind of waiting for him even when he's not there.
Yeah, and the scenes where he does get his his mask removed and he's just kind of a broken man. You love that climb back more than anything else. Like, and then at the end, willing to give his own life in service of what he believes is the right thing to do. He's a badass with a code that you can believe in, and Jackie Earle Haley just sells it. So I fucking love that guy. He's such a great actor, regardless of like what he, what film he's in, he delivers.
Yes. Yeah. We talked a lot about a lot of people like that who just bring their juice. They'll try their best.
Also, one time I'm pretty sure he was sitting behind me at a Bill Burr concert.
That is awesome. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I went with my uncle and he looks behind him and he taps my shoulder and he's like, dude, it's Rorschach. And I'm like, what? I look behind me and Jackie Earle Haley's sitting behind me, and I'm like, fuck. We were both too nervous to say anything. But yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's the man. Just the voice alone would kind of freak me out. Yeah. So good. Oh, fantastic. Man, I love it. Yeah, I was definitely shocked about Brad Pitt not being there at the end for Bastards. Aldo Rain, I know, is one of your guys. Yeah.
I figured, I showed Bastards some love. Didn't want to double up, wanted to kind of spread the love a little bit. And Yeah. I think I'm comfortable with all my selections here.
Me too. Yeah, I'll go through mine real quick, and you can go through yours just to give a little refresher. Just go back from 2000 to 2009. I got Christian Bale as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, Michelle Yeoh as Yu Shu Lien in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Gene Hackman as Royal Tenenbaum in The Royal Tenenbaums, Naomi Watts as Betty Elms / Diane Selwyn in Mulholland Drive, Adam Sandler as Barry Egan in Punch Drunk Love, Naomi Harris as Selena in 28 Days Later, Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Uma Thurman as Beatrix the fucking Bride Kiddo in Kill Bill Volume 1, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Neil in Mysterious Skin, Julie Delpy as Celine in Before Sunset, John Hawkes as Richard Swersey in Me and You and Everyone We Know, Kiorianka Kilcher as Pocahontas in The New World, Kang Ho Song as Gang Du Park in The Host, Toni Collette as Cheryl in Little Miss Sunshine, Jake Gyllenhaal as Robert Graysmith in Zodiac, Adele Haenel as Florian in Water Lilies, Michael Fassbender as Bobby Sands in Hunger, Michelle Williams as Wendy in Wendy and Lucy, Michael Stuhlbarg as Larry Gopnik in A Mysterious Man, and Isabelle Huppert as Maria Vial in White Material.
Epic. That reflects you to a T.
Yes, truly.
I've got for 2000, Guy Pearce in Memento and Jennifer Connelly in Requiem for a Dream. 2001, Haley Joel Osment in AI, Artificial Intelligence, and Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive. 2002, Adam Sandler in Punch Drunk Love and Naomi Harris in 28 Days Later. 2003, Philip Seymour Hoffman in Owning Mahoney and Uma Thurman in Kill Bill Volume 1. 2004, Tom Hanks in The Terminal and Bryce Dallas Howard in The Village. 2005, Patrick Wilson in Hard Candy and Natalie Portman in V for Vendetta. 2006, Christian Bale in The Prestige and Toni Collette in Little Miss Sunshine. 2007, Philip Seymour Hoffman in Before the Devil Knows You're Dead and Helena Bonham Carter in Sweeney Todd. 2008, Tom Hardy in Bronson and Frances McDormand in Burn After Reading. In 2009, Jackie Earle Haley in Watchmen and Melanie Laurent in Inglourious Bastards.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We had 5 overlaps: Naomi Watts, Adam Sandler, Naomi Harris, Uma Thurman, and Toni Collette. So all women except for Adam Sandler.
Beautiful. I love that we had any overlap. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, great stuff. Both got to pick 20 people to kind of shout out here. We got 5 overlaps. So yeah, good stuff, man. I had a lot of fun. This is the kind of shit I have the most fun doing because it takes you to just 1,000 different places.
This was so much fun, and we are for sure going to do this again.
Yeah, I would love to do this with a bunch of different decades, you know. And again, on Oscar Sunday, we're going to be doing stuff like this the whole episode on Sunday for Oscar Sunday on the Oscars. Gonna have a lot of fun for that whole day. And then this sneak preview next week will be a recap of the show. So we're kind of living in the Oscars right now.
Yeah, I hope you guys had fun with this one. We know we did. Next Monday is going to be our full-blown 2021 Oscars recap show, where we will discuss the winners and losers as well as the show itself. And I know that Mortal Kombat comes out next week, and we wanted to give both Mortal Kombat and our post-Oscar show their own time to shine. So we're pushing Mortal Kombat to the following week. So Mortal Kombat will get a full, uninterrupted episode, and so will the Oscars. Next week, we're covering the Oscars, which will be happening Sunday, April 25th, and we may also touch on Stowaway, which comes out Friday on Netflix. So don't miss next week, or Slither on Wednesday's Filmgazm, our 2010s Best Picture swap out on Oscar Sunday, and whatever the Giggle guys are cooking up for Friday. Have an awesome week, and keep watching movies.